Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Jaded Mechanic podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our wonderful family at Promotive. And what does Promotive mean to me? Well, Promotive means to me support, benefits, partnership. I get a lot of people to reach out to me and talk about how Promotive was fundamental in changing the culture within their shop and getting the right fit. I just want to read you a Google review from somebody that submitted to Promotive. This is the kind of company that you're dealing with when you're dealing with Promotive. This is what the people have to say, so I'll read it. We had the most incredible experience working with Promotive. Within just 2 weeks, they delivered multiple quality resumes and interviews. And thanks to their efforts, we hired exactly who we were looking for. Danny was outstanding. Not only did he find the perfect fit for our shop, but he also took the time to personally stop by and get to know our team and culture. His dedication and work ethic were second to none. Stacy, our account manager, good friend of mine, was equally amazing, checking in regularly and making sure everything stayed on track. Their pricing is extremely fair, and the results speak for themselves. If you own a shop and need help finding qualified candidates, don't waste your time trying to do it all yourself. Promotive goes above and beyond. Highly recommend it. That's pretty cool, eh, guys?
Yeah, thank you.
Like, when I say guys, I'm sitting here with my people from Promotive this morning, which is really awesome. I'm sitting with Lisa Coyle, and I blanked.
Sam Freeman.
Samantha Freeman. My bad. Ladies, how are you?
Awesome. How about you?
I'm pretty amazing.
I'm getting tired.
Yeah. No, it's a long...
Same as a haul, eh?
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. So, how does that make you feel when you hear something like that? Not butchered by the way I read it, but when you read it, you know.
You read it amazingly.
No.
We get those reviews every week, and they hit our Slack channel as soon as somebody leaves one of them, and it's probably, as the business owner, the most gratifying feeling you can have. I personally read every single one of them, and it is amazing. Mm-hmm.
Because you guys, it's tough, right? Like, we see it more and more. Like, somebody from a radio station back home, CBC Radio, reached out to me because they want to have a conversation about why technicians are leaving the industry. And every day, same kind of thing. I get feedback from technicians all over the industry talking about, like, why they're leaving or why they wish they could go. And so the gap is growing really big, really fast in terms of finding enough people to fill the spots. So, you know, you guys, I feel like it's getting tougher by the day. Is it for you guys?
I mean, in some ways it's tougher, but a lot of ways it's become easier because we've learned.
Okay.
And we get to know people. Our database has 45,000 or so in it at this point.
Wow.
So we're able to stay in touch with more people and not constantly have to build new relationships.
Right.
And the shop owners are getting used to dealing with a company like ours. This was completely new to them when we started.
Yeah.
In the corporate world, recruiting is very normal. I've used recruiters for my first company and hired my COO, my VP of sales, and shop owners weren't doing stuff like that, and technicians weren't used to that either.
Shop owners never use recruiting, ever. I mean, I've never, ever even, of all the moving around I've ever done, I would have never thought to even use recruiting. It would have always been like, hey, who's hiring? And then go over and see, like, if the place looks like I might be a fit in more ways than one. Like, will my toolbox fit? You know, because I have a lot. It's a big toolbox. Or do I feel like, you know, they've got their stuff lined up, their ducks in a row? It's a duck thing. You know, if that's going to work. I never thought about a recruitment company that could have already done some of the vetting for me to know like that might be a better fit for this technician versus that technician.
Yeah. No, and Sam talks to not only shops, but the candidates often too. Do you hear people like ask, you know, why should I use a recruiter or...
Not as much. It's more along the lines they're surprised that there's support out there now for them. They're not used to it. They're used to, I had one guy tell me, back in the day, you just load your toolbox in your truck and just drive around to shops and just say, hey, are you hiring? You want to give me a shot?
Yeah.
And even on the shop side of things, like them, I think it's getting easier from my perspective now because they're more conditioned to be more open on what they're looking for. And we are more conditioned to have the conversations to drill down on why are you looking for that?
Right.
Promotive started when Joelle Pollock and I were hanging out at an industry trade show, and we were talking about how shops have big challenges finding and retaining talent. And then we just started doing some research, who's out there helping shop owners with their recruiting process. A lot of shops have extensions of their team, whether it be a marketing person, an accountant, a lawyer. But when it comes to recruiting, they do it in-house. Doing in-house is great. As a business owner, I've done recruiting myself in-house too. But we realized there was a major opportunity to bring traditional corporate recruiting, where you have, for a lack of a better term, a headhunter out there going out proactively, building relationships with candidates and selling them on why they should work for a certain company. We wanted to take that corporate recruiting model down to the automotive space and provide that infrastructure for them, where they have somebody doing everything from start to finish, from designing the job ad to posting it to building the database to having that edification of saying, hey, we're out here vetting the shops or the clients that we work with, and we want to make sure that you find the perfect home, not just going out there and applying to jobs that you don't know how great they are. And when a shop tells you how great they are, it's different than another entity who's out there looking for your best interest to find the exact perfect home that checks all of your boxes. And in the ideal world, we can make this a match.com for technicians and shops, where we have all the technicians' wants, desires, background, and all the shops' wants, desires, and background, and match everybody up together. And we just thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, I'm not afraid to tell a shop, I think you're looking for the wrong thing as well. One of my clients, he's looking for a A-level master.
Yes.
They all are.
So.
Well, yes. But in speaking with him and trying to just understand what the workflow is at his shop, he doesn't need that.
Yeah.
He needs a service manager to come in and help with the workflow so that he can still do what he enjoys.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to be him.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's when we had the last conversation and asked it with more people from Promotive. That's what they said. The number one thing I asked them, what does everybody look for? Oh, we all want an A-tech. We all want a strong diagnostic tech. And they said the same thing. When you dig into what do you really need, you really don't need necessarily that super expensive, let's be real, super expensive diagnostic tech. You need maybe a B-tech with some diagnostic skill, and then you change your processes in the shop to accommodate. Because it's the true diagnostic tech that everybody wants, they're like a damn unicorn. They're a 4-leaf clover, man.
You
like
have to build them.
There's one in every state, maybe. And in certain parts of the state, they got a whole whack of them, and then the other states have none. It's just North Carolina's got a lot of really superstars, as an example. And then other states that are more spread out, they just don't get enough exposure to get that kind of technician that they need. I need somebody who can fix anything that comes in here, diagnose it, program it, blah, 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 blah. They don't exist. They've been built.
They have to be built. And I mean, understanding what this industry is, where we're at with the industry, and what you need to do to invest in it. We all have to take a part in this and build it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the guys I just placed recently, he's older.
Uh-huh.
He's one of my newer clients' placements, and he's 65 years old.
Wow.
And my shop that hired him, he's like, I might not have him for a long time, but do you know what you have in his brain? Like, that is knowledge. Mm-hmm. And every single person in my shop is going to benefit from being around this person. It is like having a coach for my other techs in my own facility.
Yeah, because Lisa, we talk about sometimes, and we've talked about in the past, mentorship's huge as a lacking in this industry, right? We've all talked about so many different things that have led to the gatekeeping and poor mentorship. A 65-year-old technician, which is crazy to think, because I work with a 59-year-old gentleman, and I turned 50 the other day. So, like, to think that we are still in, and that he can function physically, because it hurts. But like she said, the knowledge that they carry, and even if they're not like they know every little thing, it's the little workplace habits and practices and tricks of the trade that they're able to share with everybody. That's like, you can't build that. That's old technology or old experience learned sometimes the best way, being shared about everybody else, right? I talk all the time. The best lessons that I ever got were the ones where I learned it the hard way. The second best was when I watched somebody else do it and I have to do it myself.
Well, and on the other side of that story, though, from his perspective, the 65-year-old, he couldn't get a job. Like, he kept getting turned down left and right because they just want somebody that's going to produce.
Yeah.
And with him being older, he's a little bit slower, but changing the mindset of what we're doing in this industry and looking at the value that brings.
Yeah.
Both of them, it's going to be a very long, happy relationship, and I'm really excited to follow it.
I had a very similar incident recently within the last 6 months. I was at a shop. He hired me right at beginning of summer. No, actually, that's not true. It was last October. And same thing. He knew I was a little older. He called around some of my former references, and they're like, he's not the fastest tech we've ever seen, but like he can fix anything that comes in the door. Super smart, strong diagnostic tech, all that kind of stuff. And I warned him, I'm not quick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go way over on the times, but like if you're looking for somebody to half the time, the labor time, I'm not your guy. But my stuff will leave probably within time, and it won't come back. Well, he was like, great, that's what I need. And then I realized it was like, no, he didn't really need that because he was more of a diagnostic tech himself. He was on the front counter trying to do everything. And I'm in the back doing the diagnosis in the car. And then the other stuff that was just like the tires and the brakes would pile up because I'm in the middle of a diag, you know. And then he's like, okay, this is not working. I'm like, nah, this is definitely not working. Like, you know, I think you're a great guy, but like, I don't want to work here. And we agreed to part ways before it got really bad. No resentment to either one of us. I think he's a great guy. He thinks I'm a great guy. But we tried it. Didn't work. It's like dating versus marriage, you know?
Yeah, and that actually brings up a point I have for a lot of shop owners that might be listening is you're a great tech. At least I believe you are, Jeff.
Thank you.
And I'd let you diag my car.
Yeah.
But the job hopping on the resumes, so many shop owners judge that.
Yeah.
But the reality is the job hopping isn't because the tech wasn't a good tech.
That's right.
Oftentimes it's because they were put in a position that wasn't needed, maybe in your case or some that Sam's referencing here, or the shop got slow and they're on a flat rate model and the tech needs to pay their bills. And, you know, there's a lot of people that get hired also because the shop is so behind and they need anybody that can fog a mirror, but they're hiring that person already knowing that they need to replace that person, that they're just putting in, you know, call it a C quality, not C level. They're putting a C quality tech in, and that hurts the tech's resume. Maybe not their paycheck, but it makes them look like a job hopper, and they're probably not.
Most automotive conferences, unfortunately, only focus on one side of the shop. But Tectonic 2026, presented by TechMetric, is different. It's built for the whole shop. Owners, advisors, and technicians all have sessions designed for the work they actually do day to day. It's 3 days in Houston, packed with workshops, panels, and over 1,000 people from the industry are set to attend. And you don't need to be a TechMetric customer to qualify. Hit up the link in the show notes below and check out Tectonic 2026. Register now while you still can to get the early bird pricing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I've actually, in sitting in the role that I've been in now for almost a year, I have changed with my clients. I'm not filtering out the job hobby ones. I want you to talk to them because I want you, if they meet all of your criteria on paper, but their job hoppiness is an issue, understand their story.
Yes.
And also figure it out. You might find some culture relations there or just some mindset that makes sense. That's who I want to be with me. And also you might realize that on that resume where they were at a short stint might be a shop that you're like, yeah, I wouldn't stay there long. Like, there's so much that goes into that.
We know the players in the neighborhood, right? We really do. Back home, I've talked about it. Like, I have a handful of young techs that I don't mentor them, but like we talk a lot. And they have been around and around, and it seems like every spring they get let go from one shop because the tire season rush dries down, and they wind up at a different shop next fall. And maybe they work at one in the middle or something like that, right? And everybody goes, instead of hiring them and going, okay, we're hiring them because I have a rush of a certain type of work and I need a body for that, somebody to fog a mirror. We don't have it in place in our industry enough to go, this is how I take one from a C to an A. We don't have a plan on how do I build a unicorn. And everybody's looking around at each other going, how do we build that? And the technicians are like, well, I know how I build that. And the shop owners are like, I know how I want it built. And very rarely does that ever come together in the same method. So you have this younger generation of people that are like, F this, man. I got this amount in tools and this many years on a resume. My resume looks like ass. I leave parts of the people at work experience off because I don't even want them to call and ask for a reference. So I leave that off. And then they go, you know what? I'm done with this, man. I'm gonna go put HVAC in. And it's not we failed them. It's not that they're because they go and do another trade and they're superstars.
Yeah.
But we sit here and go, oh, they were terrible. They weren't terrible. We didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of shops out there that are afraid to build them
Yeah.
because all my investment has an opportunity of leaving my shop. Okay, and you have the opportunity of receiving somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like-
It's like that adage that says training doesn't cost, it pays. Mm-hmm. Right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing. Jim Morton said that years ago, and everybody's like, huh? What's he talking about? Well, I don't want to train. If I train my staff and they leave, and Jim would then, the second part of the analogy was always, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Yeah, I like that line.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit, I've been a business owner since I was 26, 41 now, not 50, but I'm getting there. I wouldn't bring my employees to trade shows because I was afraid that they would get poached or see an opportunity that was cooler than mine.
Right.
And it's so short-sighted.
Yeah.
You have to, as a leader, expose your people to as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And it is your job as a leader to grow them. And sometimes they don't stay with you.
Yeah.
And a lot of my employees have gone out to start their own companies. And part of me makes the joke that they're like, hey, if this idiot can do it, I can do it too. It's like, but that's so cool because now they employ tons of other people.
Right.
And it's my job to grow them and it's my job to keep them. Right.
Yeah.
I want every employee to retire with me. And I have tons of those success stories of people at 360 Payments there 13, 14 years still. All of my sales reps have been there over 10 years
Right.
and we have great retention at Promotive too, but you have to not just advance their compensation, which is the easiest thing that everyone thinks people want, but you have to expose them to things that they wouldn't get exposed to otherwise. And I think that's really important at shops. And I recently said to another podcast, I said, if I was a shop owner, I'd have all of my employees on my website.
Yeah.
You want, and of course, why don't they do that? They're afraid that those employees are going to get poached, right?
Or my God, they keep it's a revolving damn door.
Yeah.
And they keep having to do more work on the website. I got to remove Carl and put up John and Danny. I'm not sure about Danny. It's that kind of nonsense, right? I look at some of the bigger shops back home and I look at their quote unquote employee, role. And I'm looking, that guy hasn't worked there in 2 years. You know what I mean? Because I know he's working next to me, for God's sakes. That was always the running joke, right? It was why they never did it, because we turned around so much.
Yeah.
You touched on something really cool, and I always thought as a leader, if you're doing everything right, your people aren't even thinking about leaving.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. They want to stay.
Yeah.
People don't want to switch jobs.
It's not fun.
It is
I hate it.
I think switching jobs and starting a new job is a life move, right?
Yeah.
Just like getting married, deciding to have kids, moving your houses, switching jobs is work and it's emotional and you don't want to let people down and you don't want to be the new guy, and or as I learned years ago, the FNG. That's the FN new guy. I was like, when they said someone
Never
goes,
heard
I'm the
that.
FNG here. I'm like, what does that mean?
The fucking new guy,
yeah, right. And nobody wants to be that person,
No.
right? And build those new relationships makes you stronger.
Yep.
I moved 4 times between 2nd and 3rd grade. And, it forces you to have to sell yourself on why you should get invited to the birthday parties and sit at the cool lunch table.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
It does make sense, right? I can't write in cursive.
Does that really sideline anything you're trying to do every day, though? Did you
Well,
get right in cursive?
No.
No.
I mean, my
Exactly.
signature changes all the time. The bank's like, is this you? I'm like, I tried.
There's an app for that.
I'm like, I tried.
what I was just gonna say.
No, we have stamps for my signature that I used to have my
Oh, man.
my bookkeeper at 360. She's one that's still there too, and she would just stamp my signature because it was more consistent. But the people that start new jobs, it is emotional because they
Yeah.
have to prove themselves constantly to build their respect and trust and all of that. But I think that people should be really careful with choosing who they go work for. And one of the lines, maybe I've said it to you before, that my friend Christina told my sister Laura, is never run from a job,
Yeah,
run
always
to
run
a job, right? And make sure it's one that you want to be at as well. And I think that's something else, by the way, that technicians don't interview the shops enough.
Oh.
And like, if I'm a salesperson getting hired, I want to know how many people are hitting their quotas, right? I'd want to see proof of the hours flag. I want to know, how long has a service advisor been at that shop,
Yeah.
right? Are they new? What's their background? Like, what are they bringing in sales? What is their CSR, like scores and all that kind of stuff? Or what are they, CSR scores?
CSI
I guess, right?
is some.
CSI,
It just depends
yeah.
on the dynamic of where you're working,
I told
right?
you I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're not.
stop it.
Stop it. You're not.
But yeah, they need to be asking those questions. And during tire season, like things are great. You know, you can tell a lot about someone's character when things aren't going great.
That's right.
Not just when things are easy and going.
And see, I've caught a lot of flack lately because it's like, you'll see the comments and it's like, I pay my techs whatever, this amount, some astronomical amount. Oh, I want to see the pay stub, right? And nobody ever puts the pay stub up because some technicians or some people claim they pay the most, or some technicians claim I turn the most, I earn the most. Me, I come at it the other way and it's like, show me your service writers. If I'm working for you incentivized, show me how much they're actually selling.
Yeah.
Because I can make better math out of that than I can out of what you claim I'm going to be. Because I can do the math real quick and go, and I know within the first week, I watch and they're like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
This is going to end bad for both of us. Because you're not hustling the way you claimed you hustled, or the way I think you want to hustle, so that I can earn the kind of pay that I expect to earn.
Yeah.
Right?
So
then
you've
it's all-
asked people this? Asked
I
shop owners?
have. And it, because like I've been trying to teach technicians, and I have them like, they're reaching out to me now every day. I had a guy message me this morning at 3 a.m. our time.
Were you
Do know
coming
of any
back
shop-
from the bars, or were you waking up at that
No,
time?
Or were you finding a Snickers?
I was trying to find a Snickers. They had Kit Kats, but no fucking Snickers.
damn
Anyway,
Snickers.
so I say all the time now, the technicians, unfortunately, here's the reality. They need you more than you need them. Okay? So you need to learn how to interview them and ask the questions. It's not about, like, you already know based on the ad. The ad in the paper says we'll pay up to $35 an hour, flat rate, hypothetical numbers. Okay, how many hours are you guys selling?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're all killing it. Okay, I want to go talk to your technicians. And then you go walk across the shop and you talk to the tech and go, hey, I'm thinking about working here. I might be the FNG. How many hours did you make last week? Go on and go on and go on. And then talk to that person and go, yeah, it's no wonder he makes 80 last week. He's the golden child.
Yeah.
Well, what's the reality?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle, okay? So I teach my people like I'm somebody, right? That sounds funny.
I mean-
but you know what I mean? Like, I tell them, you have to interview them. That's not you. It's not them interviewing you. You're interviewing them. They already want you. They bothered to be like, I need somebody. Now you go over there and don't necessarily take the job, but you have to interview them to know whether this is the right move for you or not.
And that's one of the things, like, as an account manager for Promotive, we are doing that interview with the shops.
Yeah.
We are going through and getting that information. We are being realistic with them as well. I want to know how many hours they're expecting this new hire to turn.
Yep.
And I want to know how many they're currently turning, and going through what their arrow is, what their car count is.
Yeah.
And seeing if those numbers add up.
Yeah.
And if not, helping.
I caught a lot of flack because sometimes lately, you know, the emphasis is on technicians to train. Yeah, it's super important, no doubt. But like now, I've challenged them. A lot of them, most people now are technicians working for underperforming advisors, and the advisors need training, and the advisors need, and it's all there. It's all available there for them too.
Yep.
But everybody thinks, what are you talking about? Like my customers love that advisor. Your advisor doesn't sell shit. For a technician in the back that's on an incentivized plan, pardon my French, this is not going to work for me, because you're going to turn at me at the end of the month and go, we didn't make any money. Like, you cost me too much. Yeah, because you didn't sell enough of the work to really cover, or labor time to cover the jobs that we came in. We gave the diag away. We discounted that. All of that is all things that when I'm interviewing, I'm like, do you do this kind of stuff? And I can walk in now and I can look at the dynamic at a service advisor and owner or boss service advisor and see the dynamic, and if it's a family one, I know exactly how it's going to be. And I go, I can work here, but it's going to be rough, because I know that where you probably come from is a little bit of an emotional discounting type of person, and yet you're going to hold me in the back, boss man, owner, to a really high level of production. The production's out here on this side of the counter as much as it is on back side of that door.
It's a relay.
Right? So we have to both be cohesive in the team.
And a lot of times what I see is service advisors, we're not building those up either, and we need to.
Yeah.
So we need to have those OGs, but we also need to bring those younger entry level in, because there's a lot you have to learn there as well.
Oh.
It's not as complicated as 30,000 different components on a vehicle.
Yeah.
But it is just as much. We're dealing with humans. We're having to sell them stuff that it's not sexy to go to get your car serviced and realize that you have a $3,000 bill that you have to figure out how to pay because you neglected X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's not something that we teach. We teach people, you got to go to the dentist. You got to go get your health checked. We don't tell them that your second biggest purchase in your life is your vehicle, but you can neglect it. Just clear that thing.
That's right.
There's a lot of
We don't
knowledge.
say, hey, drive over there because it's been 6 months. Go get your alignment done again. Right? And let's be real. Only men really care when it's like, hey, John, look at these new tires put on my truck. Right? The other half of the buying consumer public, you don't care. You don't be like, hey, look at my new,
I'm
know.
sorry, I love tread.
Yeah.
Don't even, I'm like, damn, there's all
But
that
you know
tread
what I mean,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
the second half of your customer base is not into, like, they don't get tweaked out and turned on by.
And it's growing. That portion that is not obsessing over vehicles and the components and all the accessories, that is getting bigger and bigger. And the people that are really loving that stuff, it's getting smaller.
Yeah. It's a cell phone on wheels.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? And when, like, now when it's like, well, I get a new cell phone every 3 years, that's where this is going to go, where I'm going to get a new car every 3 years.
Yeah.
Scary.
It is.
You know, because then it's like, well,
I
how
don't
much are you
want
going to...
that.
It's true, though, when you think about it, right?
I know. Listen,
You know?
my phone is due for an upgrade,
Yeah.
okay? And my car is paid off. I do not want a new car.
Yeah.
But I also am very old school mindset where I believe in taking care of your vehicle. I believe in getting it serviced. I love my independence.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I thrive on this industry tremendously.
What's some advice that when you have people calling you up, or not advice so much, but when people are calling up trying to place, find an advisor? Because we always talk here about like what's it like from the technician perspective, but
Sure.
what do you see when you see people reaching out to you say, I need a service advisor? What are they looking for? Not just the sales side, but like what's the next qualities they're looking for?
Somebody that cares, that is a people person, somebody that has, what is that word I'm looking for? Empathy.
Okay.
To a certain point. A lot of shops you have that sales piece of it, but the ones that want to grow a service advisor, they're looking for somebody that's done waitressing.
Okay.
Somebody that is used to getting rejections, that they're not breaking down at that. You can build from that. Mm-hmm. Especially an excellent like customer service rep, you can build that knowledge. What a lot of my clients like is they're looking for somebody that has some level of passion of the industry. They don't want technicians.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a fun little rule that's been going around for my entire career.
Yeah.
But they want somebody that likes the industry, that understands the workings of it, but not necessarily can go wrench on a car. They're looking for somebody that is ultimately the pay comes into play too. Mm-hmm. Like we'll pay our technicians a crap load of money. You know, they can make $200,000 easy, but the advisor, they're like, can I get him for
75?
or less? So it's a mixture on all those things.
And that's like, I always, when people started talking about like, I want to get a waitress to come in as a service advisor, and I would go, well, you're talking about the people are handling now $100,000 vehicles, and you want them to sell work on $100,000 vehicles, and you want to pay them peanuts. It's you pay them similar to when you're just like slinging $40 worth of beer, or $60 worth of chicken wings or something like that. You're talking about $100 night versus maybe a $10,000 repair. You want the same kind of paid out for that. Let's do the math on this for a minute, right? She's doing $10,000 work orders, and her commission isn't even 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where she can go, maybe, or I keep saying she.
Yeah, you know,
they could go and do their job at the restaurant that night and take home way more than what they made servicing somebody's car. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to flip that and realize that, like, we all need to be paying ourselves better, and that includes the people that are responsible for a much more, they have a poor experience at the restaurant one night. They probably don't go back to the restaurant. When they have other trust factors built into their vehicle of who they fix the car, they're going to continue to go back.
People buy from people.
Yeah, right? And that service advisor, if they're failing to make them feel comfortable, welcome. It makes everybody else's job harder. The technician is just trying to fix the car and tell you everything that needs wrong with it. If you can't convert that to communication to the customer, we all die.
To me, the advisor and that A-level tech are just as important.
Yeah.
They are, you got your quarterback and your wide receiver, your running back, using some Lisa terms here.
Can we do hockey terms?
Yeah, sure.
Oh gosh, I don't know the positions.
Center
She doesn't know the positions, but she's a Florida Panthers fan.
I went to a Stanley Cup Finals game, okay?
Okay.
And it was the most
Bandwagon fan.
amazing. I am.
How many Canadians were in the crowd, do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just upset Wayne Gretzky gave his jersey to a Canadian, and he did this whole thing. Were you there the other day? The keynote. You didn't go to the keynote with Wayne Gretzky?
So I'll tell you why. We kind of had this conversation, but like where I come from, Kingston, Ontario, that's kind of where hockey in Canada, which is where hockey in the world started, was where the first Hall of Fame for hockey was. We're talking 1918 or something is when that kicked off in Canada. So I'm very used to not seeing Wayne around, but his dad, Walter, was around Kingston a lot because he was a scout. Don Cherry, who was the Hockey Night in Canada, which you guys sometimes would only see in clips, or Rock'em Sock'em hockey videos where all Cherry did was put out videos of fights. Yeah. That was all Don. Don's from Kingston.
Nice.
Don's brother was I was in kindergarten, was my high school principal. Wow. So when you say, like, am I a hockey fan? By birthright, where I'm born, I'm somewhat of a hockey fan. Yeah. But I'm not like, oh my God, I got to see Wayne Gretzky again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, he gave away a jersey and he said, everybody that's from Canada, raise your hand. And then he said, everyone from Alberta, raise your hand. And then anybody from, I think it was Edmonton.
Yeah.
You know this. Yeah, Edmonton. Raise your hand. And I'm like, I want that jersey.
Yeah.
But fun fact I learned from him is lacrosse is actually Canada's number one sport, not hockey.
What?
I know.
That's surprising.
So, the thing I would add to the service advisor and I don't talk to nearly as many people as Sam does, they are looking for someone that's progressive with technology, social media. They want somebody that cares about those Google reviews that can help them with social posts. And, you don't need a full-time marketer to do the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of that, but they want somebody that can do that.
Yeah.
And that they're, I hate to say younger, but someone that does care about DVI and wants to use the systems to help increase the ARO and all of that. And you need the service advisor to be on board with the shop's tools, because if they're not on board, the technicians definitely won't be on board.
No.
So,
I've said it before, like a DVI is a great tool.
Yeah.
But if I like do the same DVI on the same car over a point of a year and none of the work that I've ever found gets sold, guess what?
Yeah.
There's no point in me doing it for the fourth time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what's the point? God, I got to learn to do that better. You need to just pull up the last one and submit it because it's the same.
Yeah. Well, they should have that, but also there's the other piece of it, though, is what if that customer took that vehicle somewhere else and got those things done? You need to catch that stuff.
And that's where the communication at the front counter comes in, and looking at your referred work when you're making the appointment. Okay, Mrs. Smith, like last time it was in, we noticed these 3 things. Are you interested in getting that done again? Or getting that done? No, I already had it done. The next question becomes, and this is really unpopular.
Oh, I love this. Let's go.
Why is it done somewhere else? Because that feedback that Mrs. Smith is going to give you is way more valuable than market research.
I agree 1,000%.
If she says to see, well, I have a guy that's cheaper. Cool. Yeah. So what Mrs. Smith has now told you without telling you, I use you for the oil change and the really good inspection that you do. Now you have to decide as a shop, ready for this drum roll, are you an oil change shop? No. Okay. So what has Mrs. Smith told you? Mrs. Smith belongs at another shop.
Or you need to educate that consumer, and you need to let them understand why it is important to bring that vehicle to you and what the value in return for them is.
Now, it may be a dead-end conversation. She might only look at, you're too expensive.
Yeah.
Right? Cool.
And buying a new car is very expensive as well.
Right? So the conversations that we have to have. But that's the thing, when I call it, when they don't convert, when they don't turn over findings into revenue, that's the big glaring thing right now that has got to divide between the technicians and the advisor. Chris Craig, is a fantastic, good friend of mine. His content has really changed my thinking and culture about where advisors are. But him and I are still like, we talk and it's like we appreciate and respect one another. But he's steadfast here and I'm steadfast there, and we're coming together. But it's tough because Like, he just looks at it as like, okay, all right, no problem. And I'm looking at it as like, that failure to convert failed the whole business. Didn't just fail you on your commission portion. It failed everybody else that's on a commission.
Oh yeah, no,
well, it's just like not hitting your sales numbers and having your sales team or not hitting your PPDs. Like, you got to figure this out. You got to look into it.
Yeah.
And why is it not moving forward? Because that one customer is not just one customer.
That's
there
right.
are other customers that come to you that are feeling the same way.
Exactly the same. So, kind of talk to us about what Promotive is doing to keep moving forward to address these challenges.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas don't stop.
That's right.
I call them shower thoughts, massage thoughts, when I'm forced to not speak to other human beings, although my wife is like, you talk in the shower all the time. Like, you don't shut up. Like, one of the most exciting things that I'd say, besides the AI recruiter that I think Stacy and Ethan talked to you about recently, that's more on the shop side, is I want everyone to know Promotive, we are in this for the technician relationship.
Thank you.
And it's not that we're not in it for the shops, to be very clear.
Everybody will win.
If somebody, in my opinion, there's no entity that has a relationship with the technicians that's advocating for their careers. And sure, there's ASE, right, and that kind of stuff, but like, there's nobody being a career resource. And something that we want to build in the next year is a tool exchange. So this is the first podcast I'm actually saying this publicly. If someone steals my idea, shame on me. Because my dad always says a pound of ideas is worth less than an ounce of execution.
That's right.
So actually executing, which we will execute on. Like, one thing I've learned working with technicians, and I don't know anything about cars, didn't know technicians even had to buy their own tools until we started this, is how financially, I don't know how to say irresponsible, but strapped a lot of techs are. And I think the tool companies are a big reason to blame for that. And you catch flack on stuff. The tool companies are probably going to hate me one day.
You're in good company with me then.
Where's the mute button for a second?
You want to mute me on this?
You're in good company with me because I call them right out. Yeah.
I describe, if I was a shop owner, I would never let my techs go on the tool trucks.
I agree.
But I describe techs with tools like my 9-year-old with monster trucks.
Yes.
He wants every monster truck.
Yeah.
He has 100 of them, but he plays with the same 3, Gravedigger is the one that like always comes to my name. He's always like, Mom, which one's your favorite out of these? And lays them out. I'm like, Gravedigger, because I know that's your favorite.
Yeah.
But he only plays with 3 of them. He doesn't need 100 of them. And I think that the tool companies sell things to techs that they don't need, and then they get screwed. I had a R word in mind on the APR. And they get strapped for the payments, and then they want to jump ship for a quarter an hour more to the other shop because they can't pay their bills.
That's right.
Right? So what if I have an app and we have techs have their toolbox and upload all of their tools and their own inventory, if you will. You guys are proud of your tools. Yeah. Right? You are very proud of your tools. I'm pretty sure everyone's
have more pictures of your tools than some kids.
Yeah, they're probably the screen picture on your phones is probably your toolbox, unlike a lot of you listeners, right? Yeah.
You decorate it.
But you get this random job that you need a tool for. You haven't seen this job in 10 years, 20 years. And you go buy this tool and maybe the whole set that comes with it. I've never personally bought tools. But what if instead you could search in a 25-mile radius and see if somebody else has that tool and you can rent it from them for $20 for the day? Yeah. Type of thing.
That's fantastic.
Magic.
So we are building our database and staying in touch the best we can with these techs. And I want every tech to know that we're in this for the technician relationship. Paycheck analysis. Yeah. Comp plans.
You got a ton of stuff.
They're very...
Oh, dude. There's so much here. There's so much missing.
Yeah.
Like, if you honestly look at the other verticals of the world here, the automotive industry does not have the support that the dental or the healthcare industries have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and we want to take care of it and tackle it.
What if, like, on a Thursday... I know you're not a fan of flat rate, right? Like, no. What if on a Thursday, though, on all the guys listening to this on flat rate... there was a notification that got sent to their phone that said, hey, tomorrow you need to flag 10 hours, not 8, because your pay goes from $30 to $32, and that is X dollars, more in your weekly pay there.
Yep.
Nobody is, and I don't think it's intentional that shop owners are like not going out of their way to say this to them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I seek positive intent in everybody. But
Right.
what if there was that notification that could say you have to go do this, and that's going to give you X more dollars? And then what if we had the shop software, payroll company, and comp plans all sync, and we spit out to them a paycheck analysis that said you did get paid fairly? Right there, they're going to have that trust in their shop even more. And if it wasn't accurate, what if we find them some more money?
Yeah.
And again, I don't think shops are doing this like intentionally.
No,
but
it's not malice.
I think payroll is the one thing that I pride myself in that we've messed up maybe like 2 or 3 times in my 16 years of owning a company, but you have to be on top of it.
Well,
In any commission model, you have to be on top of it.
And these comp plans are getting more complex.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I've seen some calculators that are built by some clients, and I'm just like, how the hell do you do this?
Yeah.
Like you're complicating something that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So we have lots of ideas.
You touched on that thing about how, like, if you get that 10 more hours, you bump from 30 to 32, just round
Sure.
numbers, right? Now, you have to tread carefully there, because there are people in this industry that will, you've heard me use the term dangling carrot, right? Everybody will say that once you bump up to this number, all your hours were 32. I have worked so many places now that nobody ever hits that. Not because the work's not there, but they'll hold the work, or they'll round it up to somebody else to keep them all level, because, shoot, it changes the ELR if all of a sudden now I give you that job and you bump
Yeah.
up. So it's dangling there, but say
Yeah.
the magic number is 35. Do you know how many texts I saw that never hit 35 then before they bumped up? 34. 34.2, 34.3.
Have you heard that?
I haven't, but I would love that. Like, I would love that if any of the candidates that we've placed come to us and let us know, because I would have those conversations with the shop. Is that intentional, or are you not even aware of it?
It's 100% intentional.
Well, some of them are not aware of it
That's
as
right,
well.
yeah.
Some of them not having the right service advisors in the right places. I mean, that is the outcome that happens.
Yeah, because I've seen it where we've had workflow sitting there that we could have done internals, as an example, and it's Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon. If everybody was to then take the internal work, they're going to bump up. That internal work sits there waiting till next week.
Wow. I have not. I mean, and I'd tell every shop owner or service advisor that's doing that, sandbagging does not help anybody. And I'm a salesperson at heart. I've built sales companies that, companies based off sales models. That's it. And I discourage sandbagging constantly, because it doesn't push you for that next month, because you're in the same predicament next month.
I think you got something absolutely magical with the tool idea, though.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that's really powerful stuff.
And you need the database to do that.
Yes.
And the tool companies aren't going to do it, because
They make that money.
They need the tools there.
I've gotten kind of yelled at for saying that some of the tool way we do things now in this industry especially is predatory. And I would have said that way back in the day it was always predatory, but not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Now they don't even try to hide it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the running joke is you go out to the tool truck and you walk out with beef jerky and sunglasses and maybe a pocket knife on credit.
Yeah.
So you could have walked to your local Walmart and bought the same 3 items.
Yeah.
No credit, half the price.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, how are those guys getting paid? Those guys driving those tool trucks,
Same
they're
way.
100% commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
And we'll find them some other avenues
Yeah.
to make money and have careers, because they're amazing people too.
They have to pivot and adjust
Yeah.
just like everything else in the economy. I don't, and I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't buy the tools, but right now there are some tools that are just astronomically priced. And why are they astronomically priced? Because some of the tool vendors aren't tool builders. So it's touching 3 hands before it finally gets in the hand of the technician. Everybody that touches it
Needs to get paid.
Yep.
And they should.
Yep.
But it now takes a tool that somebody could sell for $200, and by the time it ends up in your hands, it's $600. Oh, you want to finance it? Now it's
Yeah.
not even $600 anymore, right?
Yeah.
So this is not. Where do we draw the line of what is actually predatory? I'm going to call that probably a little bit predatory. But at the same time, people need to make money.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the whole thing is. It's like everybody, the big player, Harbor Freight in the aftermarket for tools right now is killing it. And everybody's like, they suck, their tools are garbage. There's a lot of, right now, some very popular content creators online that are using Harbor Freight tools
Yeah.
and saying a lot of good things about them. Now, is the service the same as what we grew up with? No, it's not. Harbor Freight doesn't come to my shop when it's broken every week and give me a new one. They don't do that. But, I mean, can I drive down to Harbor Freight on the way home and stop and get what I need warranted out? Sometimes, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
So, the warranty thing of not being predatory, come on. It's a little bit of a stretch.
Is that the main selling point for the tool companies? Is
No.
that okay?
It's the financing.
Okay.
It's the fact that you can finance. If I go to Harbor Freight and I still want to buy it and I don't have any cash, it's going on my credit card.
Yeah. And that's why they change your cell phone numbers so much, which makes it
man.
harder for all of us
I
to,
never
Oh
even
my
thought
goodness.
about that.
because they're
Yeah.
getting hit up by owing money constantly.
They change your cell phone numbers more than they change your underwear.
So can
Yeah.
I hear about a success story that you guys would know off the top of your head of a client or whatever that Promotive really did something awesome? You kind of touched on one like earlier, a 65-year-old gentleman. But have you got more stories you could share with
She's
that?
the one that,
I got
Sam,
a
let me
lot.
have it.
yeah.
I mean, I can give you, I have a C-level tech that was just a new client of ours out of California, actually. He wanted to test the waters with us, so he gave us a really like a low-level placement opportunity. And we went through some interviews. He interviewed the first guy, loved him. Personality fit, the drive was there. This guy, the candidate itself was just motivated just to be, he wants to provide for his family, he wants to grow his knowledge. He's what everybody honestly wants.
Yeah.
And the shop wanted to keep feeling, the grass is greener, I want to keep looking. And having that conversation of, hey, sometimes you actually do hit a home run on the first pitch. Sometimes you got to take a couple pitches, yes, but if you hit a home run, fucking run.
Yeah.
And so he's been there, and my client wanted to keep going. It's like, I still want to interview. I'm not sure. Wasn't bought into everything. He just, on the way here, he messaged me. He's like, all right, let's stop. I love this guy. He's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
I have a couple more head counts coming, but this guy is exactly what we needed. And I honestly have several of those. I'm not going to say everything's perfect.
No.
I mean, we do have where some will get hired, and I just had a guy tell me on the way here, hey, the guy put his notice in. He doesn't want to work on the type of vehicles we work on. Everybody was transparent. Everybody was transparent in this, and it's just, he didn't want to do it. But
I wonder what happens there, right? Because I know, like, for me, it's been the opposite way, where it's like I tell them, like, these kind of brands, I just hate them. Mercedes and BMW, I'm just not good. I mean, can I fix it? Yeah. Do I like it? No. The funny fasteners and the all the plastic, it really frustrates me. I can fix the car. And I tell them, oh, don't worry, we don't get too many of them here. And then you get 3 in the first week that you're there. And they kind of chuckle at you and go, oh, this never happens. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And you're like, mother effer. Like, you.
well, or you kind of look at things and stuff comes and flows.
Yes.
I mean, joking to our service advisor, we made some adjustments here within our company and made some changes with how we manage service advisors and who's in charge of those. And the moment we made that change, floodgates, everybody wanted service advisors. It was like the top priority. And so workflow changes. We know it changes. Seasonality changes. Some vehicles are better with seasonality than others. I honestly, if I was that candidate, I would have reached back out to Promotive and said, hey, this is going on. We could have talked to them, could have pulled their numbers and said, hey, these are all the cars they service. This is just a seasonality thing.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of time.
Yeah. See, I don't think a lot of people realize with you guys, like, after you, and I know I've talked about it, but I don't think a lot of people notice that what you do is a lot more than just a follow-up.
Oh, no,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? You're way more invested in the client after they've been placed or recruited somebody. You guys stay involved.
Yeah.
We want the success stories.
Yeah.
We want, that fuels us. It fuels
There was
me.
one on our party last night. Seth Thorson's guy.
Okay, yeah.
Daniel, who's
Yeah.
Seth's right hand, was like, this is our first Promotive baby. And he's been here over a year now, and he's advancing. He's already leveled up.
Yeah.
And like, he was at SEMA. Like, how many shops bring their whole staff to SEMA or staff in general?
Yeah.
Like, and it was a Promotive baby, as Daniel called him.
And here's what Seth did that
Gave him a shirt.
Yeah.
he shared with me last night was that Seth didn't bring his whole staff because Seth's got like 5 stores,
Yeah.
right, or more now. And I could be wrong. Pardon me, Seth. But what he's done is he's put in place, like, you do your daily training. Mm-hmm. And whatever you do, your daily training, you do all this other stuff. If you do it, you're eligible to come to this.
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, So there's the
Yeah.
the dangling carrot that's actually there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like, good on him for
Yeah.
saying we're going to reward you for doing this work. Because lots of other shops, and I love training, say you're just going to train because I need you to train. I need you to do 40 hours. Talked to a guy this morning. He's expected to do 40 hours of training a year. Now that's no problem for him. That's no problem for a lot of technicians in the trade anymore to do 40 hours of training a year. And then you get a whole thing as a paid or unpaid, whole other conversation. But some places it's like, I want you to do 40 hours of training a year, and there's no reward for that.
Yeah. No, it's I get it. Like, I've been that business owner that
Yeah.
doesn't pay for training. And you deep down want somebody that wants to go get that training on their own. It shows initiative, right? But you can always reimburse at some point. Like, there's
Yeah.
things you can do, but
And the reimbursement's not necessarily even financial.
right.
Like, I've worked for guys that gave me, like, I'm Canadian, so they gave me a Tim Hortons card. You know, here's $25 card for Tim Hortons, because like they put that in their baby bottles, right? So we're pretty
Yeah.
much like weaned on that shit. So it's like we'll always find $25 worth of Tim Hortons use. Like, that's
Yeah.
not a problem. I know guys that's their coffee intake for 3 days, $25,
Yeah.
right? Inflation, but you know, it's always something that's better than nothing. Thank you for doing your, you know, your weekly training for this week. Thank you for getting it done. Here's $25
Yeah.
in thing.
Well, and I think a lot of shop owners just think that that's expected.
Yeah.
I think technicians also need to kind of change your mindset and realize that not every shop out there is even giving you the path to have that access to reward you in the minimal ways or
Yeah.
even just the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of shops that don't give that direction or that requirement, and that requirement of 40 hours is, I'm seeing it more and more. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Everybody's going to win.
And I understand people that are listening. I'm not against that as a thing. I think we all need at least 40 hours a
Yeah.
year, right? Because at the end of the day, we talked about it this morning, if you go home and you don't pour anything into yourself, eventually in this industry as a technician, you become stagnant.
Yeah.
You can't keep ahead of the technology. It's coming faster than you
Yeah.
can keep up. If you're not going to do a little bit on the weekend, a little bit at night to keep the car that kicked your butt that day, that's when you have to go home and study that car is
Yeah.
that night. That's the hardest thing, because
Yeah.
it's already your brain is like, I hate this system.
Yeah.
And you got to have to go home and master that system. It's just putting reps in. That's all it is, right? If I keep putting the reps in, eventually the weight goes up.
Yeah.
And what I mean by the weight go ups, I understand it enough that it's going to kick my butt next
Yeah.
time, right?
No, and as a shop owner, though, too, or a business owner in general, I believe in karma, right? And I also, my kids a lot of times are like, that was karma. I'm like, wrong use. It wasn't. No, I believe in karma, but don't you want to leave a legacy?
Yes.
Right? So, you know, like, I don't want to say, like, think about at your funeral, what are people saying about you? But what are people saying about you out there? Like, be that person that, you know, like, it feels good when people are like, I would not be where I am without Lisa. Like, be that person that somebody's saying that about you one day.
Wow.
And I guarantee every shop owner listening on this call can say, I wouldn't be where I am today without X, Y, or Z person, hopefully multiple,
Yeah.
that believed in them, that
Yeah.
paid for their training.
Yeah.
And if they didn't pay for their training, you know what? That they are where they are today because they had that initiative. But I'd rather like just give back to people and be that reason. And maybe they do leave one day. Maybe they do,
Yeah.
you know, start their own shop. But you're that person that helped them get there,
Well, that's
and that
it.
feels
Like,
so damn good.
I have technicians now in my life that like are working in some absolutely amazing, and I don't necessarily say shops. I have a guy that I got him as green as could be, and now he is a troubleshooter for North America for a particular software program that is on a fleet of buses that's all over the
Yeah.
country, America,
That
right,
feels
all
good.
over. Yeah, his fundamentals came from me. His process of thinking on how he approaches a problem came from me.
Yeah.
Now he has moved around. We're talking 20 years later, but to see that he has eclipsed me in ability,
it feels good,
oh my God! It's like
right? It's so cool.
I could lose my toolbox in
Yeah.
a fire tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And never, I could lose my finger and never be able to work on a car.
Yeah.
The
Which
legacy I've left is the fact that guy goes, it's how he treated me
Yeah.
and what he taught me that allowed me to get to where I am in my life.
Yeah. So like
That's
that's how I
powerful
look
stuff.
at training.
Yeah.
Though, right? Like be that person that somebody is grateful for later. And at the end of the day, like 40 hours of training, what's that? 30 hours, $30 an hour, $40 an hour, right? Like $1,500. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but there's ways you make that back, and it's life changing for people.
You make it back tenfold.
Right.
Especially
Yes.
if this technician is staying at your shop, or if they're learning it as like,
Yeah.
it's crazy how
if you do it
fast you get
just
that
on the
back.
diagnostic standpoint,
Yep.
and they become like 50% faster of being able to diagnose the system, and you're actually charging for the diag,
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
now
yeah.
50% more efficient.
Yeah.
They get twice as much work done in half the
Yeah.
time. Now, if you can't figure out to make $1,500 off that, you're giving away too much.
Yeah.
And theirs covers the training cost.
And they get a write-off on it, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know, but that's
I don't
a
know
whole
if you
other
have
thing.
those in Canada.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like, it's a write-off on their financials. So
Yeah.
I have a completely random question for you as my
Okay.
ideas. We're talking about hourly and stuff. So I build a lot of commission plans over the years for salespeople,
Yep.
for account managers, for customer service. Like, I think everybody should be on some sort of commission plan,
Skin
even
in
if
the
it's
game, yeah.
even if it's like on company revenue or company EBITDA, whatever. Flat rate models. Put your opinions on it aside. One of the reasons that it's tough for technicians is that there's the seasonality of the business. And at 360 Payments, we process for, I don't know, $10, $12 billion at this point. So we see the dollars processed. And each month, we know that December is going to be a lot slower than March, say. But the flat rate stays the same.
Yeah.
Right? So in my sales models, we have lower and higher quotas based on seasonality.
Right.
So we know that we're going to sign more shops up in March than we are in December. Why don't shops level the playing field for seasonality and pay more per hour in the slow times and lower per hour in the busy times? Like, I'm genuinely asking
That's a very good idea, and it's surprising that more people haven't thought about it. I think to counter your process, a lot of technicians, maybe if they already were feeling like they should have been more than what they were getting in the good months, when you go back all of a sudden, because mechanics suck at money management, we're terrible at it, right?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I have any extra money, I'm buying a new gun or a new project car. That's where
or a new tool.
Or a new tool.
tool.
You beat me
You
to
got the
it.
third one, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So if you go to the slow month now or the high month and you turn back the pay, that's
Yeah.
when a lot of them are going to be like, wheel it out.
Yeah,
Wheel
and
the box out.
that's exactly what
Well,
happened. But
yeah.
it's not that, though. It's that they get used to making that. I say used to because we all have short-term memories, right? Like myself included. We're like Dory over here. But they get used to that March paycheck.
Yeah.
And then April good too, May good, and then June.
Yeah.
Now it's, oh, my shop sucks. They're not good at marketing. Like, they're not thinking seasonality so much. Oh, my service advisor's not selling enough jobs, and we finger point so much.
Yeah.
But what if we just leveled it out so it's more consistent pay? And I tell my salespeople when they have a killer month at, say, a SEMA show, don't get used to those leads. Save the money, but we can't expect technicians to save their money because they're buying guns.
I would rather see technicians when you have, say, you can work flat rate, but I'm going to pay you $2,000, whatever, right? Now, if you go over $2,000, I'm putting it in an account for you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I'm going to pay that
I
in
like
your
that
slow months,
too.
so it's going to roll up. Some have done that in the past.
I've
Other
heard
shops.
of that.
But it is the trust factor now between me and the boss, huge, right?
Yeah.
That I'm going to trust that you're completely honest. Because again, being I'm a mechanic and not an accountant, I'm not always following a month later how much did I actually roll into that account.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could work. It totally could work. The flat rate thing is going back to there's good work and there's hard work. If we're all paid on just the same hourly and it's just about how many hours we turn, I want the easy work every time.
Right.
Because there's less stress. I don't pull my hair out of my
I
head
said
trying
the
to
dealership
solve.
guys
Yeah,
are
that's
flagging
what-
60, 70 hours a week sometimes.
Yeah,
What?
but then there's a guy over there at the dealer also that's handed back all the hard cars, the diag, the drive. He's their master shop foreman, whatever, all the certs. Well, if we're all paying say $40 an hour, and he turned 30 because he had to do all the arse-kicking jobs. And the other guy over there that was like, I don't know how to do that, and he turned 60, that's not a fair that's not a fair
agree.
payment system with flat rate. So that's my only wrinkle
Yeah,
on
no,
it.
I
So
see.
a lot of my clients that I talk with, when we are bringing in those, diag techs, it's what's your expectation for them? Because if they're going to be not producing and they're helping and they're having to figure these things out, you need to compensate for that.
Yeah.
You need to reduce what their expectations are and understand that they are getting a piece of almost like a foreman style concept, but not at that level.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I liken it to like a triage nurse almost. That's kind of how your foreman or
Your diag
guy has to work. Diag girl in the shop has to work. They have to be looking at because it's part of the dispatch thing. I know that that's probably going to be really easy, or I know that real quickly I can kind of go over and check what I think it might be with them, and then if it is, we point them on that thing of getting that part ordered and helping them through the process. This car that they came in and Mrs. Jones said it's been to 3 other shops, and it's still broke, that's not going to anyone but me. And we now have to go up front and have a conversation with Mr. Jones about listen, we can fix this, but it won't be tomorrow. And we're going to have several phone calls about this is the next thing that we got it to do. This is the next thing we got to do. We're slowly building through getting the monster exercise from the machine, but it's going to take some time. Are you cool with that? Yes. Okay, cool. And then they go back to being a triage of okay, this one is coming in for squeak and rattle. That guy is really good at squeak and rattle. My 65-year-old guy that can't even hear the radio across the shop, not the guy I'm going to give the squeak and rattle to.
Yeah.
Dispatch is the most... This is where in the industry we drop this. We don't dispatch to strengths. We dispatch to whoever's available. That's wrong, number one.
Yep.
Can't do it. Don't say yes if you don't have a tech to do it. That's a rule number one for life. Second of all, if I don't have a tech available right now to do it, don't tell them it's still going to be done by end of day.
Yep.
If you took your unicorn and you put them on an engine job, and then you had 3 check engine lights come in, guess what? Service advisor has to make that phone call to say, listen, we can get to this. But unfortunately... my guy that can do this is going to be is backlogged.
Yep.
I can do 2 things for you. I can give you keys back and we can reschedule, or you're going to have to, I will keep you in a loop and we'll let you know when this is done. Here's a rental car, enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. You do not give it to somebody that can't get through it, take the money for the repair, let it go, and then deal with it when it comes back.
Oh, that gave me a headache thinking about that comeback component of it. It's not... Communication is everything.
It's 100%.
If you communicate with your consumer and you give very clear expectations, the outcome is typically going to be a positive. They appreciate that.
Yeah.
Same thing from the advisor to the tech to the advisor, all the way around. And understanding. I know I have a client that came up yesterday, and he's like, I have an issue with scheduling. He's an advisor and he has techs. They overload on too many oil changes, and they're not doing enough kind of juggling of the work. And it's, how do we manage that? You have to have the knowledge. You have to know what your team is capable of doing. It is the manager's job to educate the advisor on the skill sets of the techs, or the foreman's job to communicate that. But you need that to go. They need to have some tracking of it and be like, hey, Jeff is good at this.
Yeah. I think, though, in the shop's defense, consumers, Amazon, for better or worse, has screwed our expectations.
So
and they, consumers expect everything very fast now. And if you can't do it as quickly, so-and-so probably can. And they want that car as fast as they can because they have a $600 a month payment on it. And every day that goes by to them is them not having their baby for that $20 a day they're paying for. And I tell shops all the time when they hire us, because they hired us when they need someone yesterday, and
or like 2 weeks ago.
They start us at a 4th and 20 instead of a 1st and goal, and then expect us to be Jeff Bezos with a technician on their doorstep with Promotive Prime delivery. And that's not us. So
my favorite one is when I'm doing my intake calls. When I'm doing my intake calls, I have a door right behind me, and I'm always, just so we're very clear, that is not a factory where we're making technicians. It actually takes time, effort, and work for us to figure this out.
But it's the same thing with their consumers of they're expecting, last time you fixed my car and it was done this quickly, and we are setting expectations whether we realize it or not every single day with people. So I do feel bad for the shops in those situations because we deal with it too. The shops do it to us.
always I ask towards the end of the conversation whenever Tech Metric on, I always ask like some advice for what are you going to give the technicians that are trying to find work. And we kind of know where this is going, so I'm going to ask. It's going to be a 2-part question.
Okay.
And then because I want to keep going towards when you're suggesting people out there that you're going to try and place advisors, what is it for them? So technician first, advisor second.
Good, Sam. She's doing this every day.
Yeah.
You start.
So what advice are we giving to technicians?
Well, you talked about they change their cell phone number all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, so technicians, 100% communicate.
Yeah.
Don't overload yourselves. Like, I see it all the time. Ghosting is one of the biggest things. I talk to my kids every time I have a missed interview. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I honestly think that we, over the last year, have really took a chunk out of the ghosting by just speed. What happens, technicians will go, they'll apply for a bunch of jobs, people will respond, they get overwhelmed, and now all of a sudden, I don't know who the hell I'm talking to.
Right.
They don't talk to the people they need to talk to. They accept a job that probably wasn't a great fit, and now they have a bad rep with everybody they've reached out to. Understand, these shops are tracking this stuff now.
Yeah.
Every single time I submit a candidate, for the most part, not every, but for the most part, I get a response, we try to interview them, they didn't show up.
Yeah.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
It's not just that. It's have some common effing courtesy. These shop owners are scheduling the interview
Yeah.
to meet with you. Some
when
of
they
them
could
on,
be fixing the car,
Yeah.
having
Or
dinner with their
some
with their
on
Or
family.
they're
weekends.
coming in on the weekends.
Yeah.
They're not going on a vacation. I've had this happen. I'm like, show up. Communicate. It is not that hard. And if you don't want to talk to us, send a damn text.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
let us know, because we're all here to help you.
Yeah, just treat people how you want to be treated in that
Ooh.
situation, right? Like, so
It's my
have
line.
that common courtesy that, like, these people are expecting the interview. They're excited. They may have prepared. They may have gotten someone on their team to, shadow and learn how to interview and to see who you might be working with. And they skip their lunch, or they're skipping the soccer game or vacation, and they're going to be late to get home, and their wife is going to ream them because they've been late every day that week. Like, they're
Yeah.
human beings, and I'd say have respect there.
And they're paying sometimes. They pay people to stay and come in. I mean, I've had it multiple times. They're paying their team to stay late to come and do this
Yeah.
interview with you. It's common courtesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down to that bottom line. Treat people
Yeah.
the way you want to be treated. That is my famous line. My
Yeah.
kids hate it 'cause it's an everyday thing.
But on service advisors, I mean, the service advisor role always intrigues me because
Yeah.
it's sales, right?
Yeah.
Know your numbers.
It's knowing their numbers, being able to back it. Shops are looking for you not to be perfect. Technicians too.
Uh-huh.
We had one train our staff on a lunch and learn, and if somebody says they're a 10 on their diag skills in certain areas, it's a red flag to them.
Yeah.
Like, they want somebody to say they're a 7, right? They want that. So same thing on the service advisor side, knowing your numbers, be real with your numbers, admit your flaws. We all know humans aren't perfect. Shops that we work with want somebody that they can train in advance because they are usually good people. They want to grow somebody. So I'd also say, like, I'd personally want to know the turnover of the shop. I'd be asking about the numbers. I'd be asking, like, don't tell me about the guy that's been with you for 30 years.
Yeah.
I want to know about, how many techs did you start 12 months ago with, and how many do you have today, or 24 months ago, and how many do you have today, and like what do they start at, and where are they at today? I'd be wanting to dig in on who I'm working with, because it's such an intricate relationship. Like, it is so one is dependent on the other, like we talked about earlier. So that's what I'd want to know if I was a service advisor.
To me, if you keep looking, and I know it because I see it back home, the shops have the high turnover. Here's where it boils down to this. Somebody is lying to someone, right? Underselling themselves or overselling what they have to offer repeatedly. At the end of the day, it's not as, and you can look at it and you'll be like, well, who's really to blame for the turnover? They're hiring all people that are unqualified?
Right.
Come on.
Or
Yeah.
they're overselling. They're
Or
hiring
they're
people that are overselling
if you're,
themselves.
if you're looking for incentivized techs,
Yeah.
you've oversold what you're really producing as your numbers.
Yeah.
And then stop doing that, right? Be frank with them and say, like, my best guy turns 40.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are between 30 and 40 trying to keep up with him.
Yeah.
And then they do the math in their head and they go, but you pay how much an hour? Okay, I can make that work.
Yeah.
But then if you say, no, there's so much work, man, I can't get it done.
Yeah.
And then you come in there and it's like half of that work you didn't charge for, half of that work you discounted.
Yeah.
And then he's going, I rolled out more cars this week for you than I rolled out for my last 3 employers every week.
Yeah.
And yet my paycheck is less?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You didn't sell yourself then where you were. You're not meeting me where I am. Come on, stop it.
And I would add to both of those. I mean, everybody wants to hear stories of the positive. I hear a lot of this interview. All he did was complain.
Yeah.
Don't complain. You can bring up why you're leaving. You can bring up, what makes you have that feeling to leave. But come in with a solution. Come in with what you would have done or what you would have liked to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come in with your wins as well.
Yeah.
The stories. I mean, I have a friend that I remember, and he told me the story like 10 years ago. He was able to completely swap out an engine on a Kia Soul in less than 4 hours, and also down to beer in that time frame. The entire beer.
Definitely your friend.
Yes, 100%. But those are stories that people attach to, and they like to hear that you're taking pride in what you do, and that it's just not a job.
Yeah.
You're not just complaining. They don't want somebody toxic that's just going to come in and point out everything wrong. They want somebody to bring solutions. They want somebody to come in that is going to understand the value that role has.
Yeah.
One of my favorite interview questions, and we don't actually have to interview that much at Promotive because everybody's been referred to us
Right.
at this point. But at 360, I would ask a candidate, what are your top 5 personal accomplishments? And then what are top 5 professional accomplishments? And if they start getting squirmy because they can only think of 3, I'm quiet. I'm like, it's cool. Just take your time thinking. And it makes them a little uncomfortable. But they start racking their brain. And I would tell any candidate, technician, or service advisor, flip that question onto the owner. You learn so much about, or whoever's interviewing you, right?
Yeah.
About them as a person. And I always say, and if you have 2 kids, you can't say them as 2. It has to be 1,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's too easy if you have
Yeah.
5 kids and you say, I got Nixon, Alex, Ari.
Each one's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
One of them might
They
have been just
are.
a,
They are. Don't
One
get
of
me
them might have been
wrong.
an accident. You
Yeah,
know?
they are. I'm a mom. I agree. But
Yeah.
it'd be
Well.
interesting to.
There's no accident.
There was definitely no accidents
I
with
was an
mine.
accident, damn it.
But I was an accident.
Yeah.
But I'd say
Oh my God.
flip
Okay.
that script.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, I want someone to have questions. Don't be like, oh yeah, no, you already answered all the questions, or Promotive already answered all the questions for me. You have to have some question, even if it's what'd you have for breakfast today, just to get a laugh. And see if they laugh. And maybe I love humor. And if they're like, what? Then you know that maybe it's not a cultural fit there.
I've been the tech that's come and actually asked more questions of the guy trying to hire me than they had for me. And it really flips the script.
Yeah.
It puts them right on the ear. They're like, shit.
Yeah.
This guy's coming loaded, right? Ready to know what he's going to. Because, I'm bringing something that people need, or a lot of us are bringing something that people need right now. And guess what? We have options.
Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
I'm feeling you out, and it's not just as simple as hey, throw the money at the problem.
Yep.
But I have to know that, because it's $300 to move my toolbox every time I move the damn thing.
Which I think shops should pay for.
My shops pay for it.
Yeah. So it's but even if they won't, it's $300 to get it there.
Yep.
So if I'm going to move it, I got to know really good that it's worth the $300 at least to come and spend this week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Working interviews are great, but if you want a working interview, you got to have a different thing set up. How are they going to come in? Whose tools are they using? Right? If they bring their own tools, how does that look?
Yeah.
All these different options, you got to be flexible.
Yeah,
So
working interviews is a whole other topic.
I
for us.
encourage working interviews.
I think we're going to have to do more of this.
I know.
Yeah, because, we're 70 minutes in, and
it's
it's
already
getting...
been 70 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I know, we have fun.
I talk. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I rant.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I should have been on this before. I love this.
You are a natural.
I talk.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love to talk.
So, in closing, I don't say it enough. I absolutely adore what you guys are about.
Thank
I
you.
totally feel perfectly aligned with where you guys are trying to go in the industry and the technician perspective and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I am, right? Somebody called me yesterday. They called me a leader and a voice within the industry. And I was like, me? No, I'm not. And I'm not a leader. Am I a voice? Yeah, I'm a voice. Now I'm a voice. People listen to me every week. But I don't consider myself a leader. But what I am is I'm aligned with people. We're sitting here surrounded by them right now that are trying to do something really, really difficult and really, really cool and really overdue. So I don't thank you guys enough, and I want to thank you again for what your company is
thank
doing
you,
for
too.
me, and I love it. I'm so proud to be aligned with that. Is
Thank
what I'm
you.
trying to say.
Yeah,
when I
likewise.
say my family at Promotive, it's not just kissing butt. I really do think you
They
guys
all
as
love
family.
you. I mean,
Thank
obviously,
you.
I was the lucky first one to get to hang
Yeah.
out with you, but you've met probably half our team at this
Ethan,
point.
I
and
absolutely love. Like
Yeah.
they're all great.
Yeah.
All great.
They're good
So-
people, and they
Everybody
care.
equally.
Oh, here we go.
You were adorable. Though.
Yeah.
I keep telling you that you're adorable.
Yeah, no,
So-
we really care about the industry.
Yeah.
I sold my first company at 35 and don't truthfully have to work for the rest of my life, and I'm in it to change it and for the better, right?
Yeah.
And things need to be disrupted, and we need to help as much as we can, because in my opinion, technicians are the most essential of essential workers.
I agree.
Like, who is getting the pilots to the airport?
That's right.
Who's getting the doctors to the hospitals? Like, we have to help
Yeah.
the technicians.
When the
it's all
ambulance
trades.
doesn't start, guess what?
Yeah.
Well, and the crazy part is we have a very unique ability of being surrounded by some of the most amazing people. We hear
Oh,
this all the time, and me personally, I can't speak for Lisa 100% here, but hearing everybody's perspective, what they're struggling with, what they're going through. I've been doing this for a very long time, not saying how old I am right now, but the first thing I ever heard was, yeah, marketing's great, but I really need technicians. I started saying, if I got 5 cents for every time somebody said that, I'd be rich. And here we are, years and years and decades later, and this is like still a thing. I'm going to end with something really funny really fast. I was going through the Facebook flips, and there was a comment from somebody that said, I learned that we had a technician shortage since COVID. I could not do anything but laugh so hard. This thing has been going on since forever, since when they changed the schools and took automotive out of that and went college and career readiness, and now magically we have a problem.
You can talk about the shortage as being a testament to the fact that there's been one long before COVID, because
Oh yeah.
I was never out of work longer than any length of time that I chose to be. Like, as soon as I leave one job, there's offers. The only time I stayed out of work was during COVID. That was the only thing that shut it down for me.
When you were in high school, did you do an auto class?
So when I was in high school, I did an auto class, and my teacher was not actually really ever had been the kind of mechanic that was then teaching the class. Not to say that you have to be to teach it,
Right.
but there is some, like, you want somebody that's had boots in the ground, similar kind of mud, to understand what they can get you prepared for. If you can't, then you have to go to the fundamentals and kind of teach it. It's like Wayne Gretzky didn't got taught how to do a slap shot by somebody that had never fired a puck on the ice.
Right.
Or never put skates on, right? So you need somebody that's got some relevance to the thing. I took it, and again, my father, being that he'd been in the industry on the other side, on the collision side, I knew what I was getting into. But like this idea that there was never a shortage until COVID, there's been a
Yeah.
freaking shortage for 30 years.
Well, 18 years ago, they made that change, and they took out automotive out of high schools, and they replaced it with, they took out home ec, they took out auto shop. What happened to all those kids that fit that? It's crazy.
I don't even want to think or
that's
say where I
interesting.
think they are.
Well, no, they are forced into other jobs, honestly, is really what it is.
But they're forced into auto jobs for a little while, and then I think that they're just
Right.
out. I don't think they're in the
Yeah.
workforce.
But those ones that have started somewhere else, so this is an opportunity for them to come into. Like, if they're not a mechanic today, but they don't fit that box,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity.
Yeah. You guys were talking about your Adderall dosages before you got on, right? But I mean, that's a lot of us are that are in this space, that we do this job.
We're not the box.
We're not the box, for sure. And that's what gives us our superpower, being able to think outside of it and do the kind of things that just average Joe walking down the street couldn't do. Now,
Well,
I believe you can teach people how to do this stuff, but to be able to find the person that you can teach it to and they don't go crazy, that's a different thing.
100%.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tony, and
Technician Tony.
technician Tony,
Mr. Martinez.
No, I love that dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm old enough to be your sister. Like, that's what we're gonna be. He called me mom last night. It was funny. I was like, we are not doing that. But we were talking, and he's ADD too. I am too.
Yeah.
And I have a special power. Like this, yes, I am crazy in all the other ways, and I go through my rabbit holes, and I have my just super focus, and do not give me an Excel sheet because I will go deep on that. But shut up.
You're thinking it too.
The bad part is I looked at him when I said it. But going back, my superpower, honestly, other than like people, is being able to see processes.
Yeah.
I see where things are broken very quickly. At least in my brain, it tells me I see the shit quickly. Yeah. And I also process it like, why the hell didn't you guys see this already? But it is a superpower. And just because we don't fit in that box doesn't mean that we're any less valuable, any less smart.
Mine, if I can, because I'm similar. When I see immediately where I look at that and I go, this is where it effed up.
Yes.
If I could just get my delivery a bit better about how did you not see this?
Yeah.
Then I would be at that next level where I need to be.
See, everybody has that issue. It's not just me.
Yeah, so, guys,
That was fun.
ladies, I absolutely love you both. Thank you
Yeah,
for
we're
being
gonna
here
miss you.
today. Yeah. So
And happy birthday.
thank you.
When
It's
was your
birthday week,
birthday?
like 2 days
Tuesday.
ago. I know.
I turned-
We'll spare
I turned 50.
everybody singing happy birthday.
50.
Oh,
5
man.
friggin' 0.
Yeah. You know, you
You
look
know?
great.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
so
you. I hurt a lot. Shoulders and elbows and knees and back are
I'm getting a massage
Knees and
tomorrow.
toes,
Maybe you
knees
should
and toes.
too.
But I mean, it's from the trade. But I mean, I love it. I love the trade. I love what it's been able to provide for me. It's 30 years of doing this. I have no regrets. I wouldn't do much different at all. And I think that's the key to take away from this. So
Yeah.
everybody that's listening, as always, I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the messages that tell me what we've been able to do for you guys. We're going to continue to do it. We're not here for a short time. We're here to see this thing change. So everybody, all the best. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.